this year.
First pitch swinging, line drive, he's done it. John Means has no-hit the Mariners. They go! Brown fakes, dishes, Kyrie going for the 50-piece. Irving has 50!
Pressure from the Steelers. Mayfield in trouble, and he's going to be taken down. Who else but T.J. Watt?
First downs on this drive. Heineke, end zone, McLaurin, touchdown!
Torres drives that ball center field, hit deep, going back near the wall. Wilkerson, maybe, nope, goodbye, home run. Get him out of there! Don't throw to him.
I never seen anything like
Put
it.
up four fingers.
I've never seen anything like it.
He is just tearing the Orioles apart.
Jonathan Taylor, goodbye, touchdown, Indy, as he crossed the tape at the goal line. 78 yards.
And here we go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Sports Department Podcast. I am Stephen Bologna, joined alongside Justin Valentovic and Stephen Clark. And the moment we've all been waiting for is finally here. Week one of the football season is mostly in the books. We're currently filming this at 9:17 as the Buccaneers are playing Dallas on Sunday night, and the Broncos play tomorrow night, Monday night, against the Seahawks. Overall, it was a pretty wild week one, to say the least. A lot of upsets. Saw a tie, which we will get to.
Football's stupid.
Yeah. But first, how are you guys? How was the drive, Justin? I know you watch these games a lot, so.
Yeah. No, I was coming back from East Jabib, from Cooperstown, New York, of the Hall of Fame. Between Cooperstown and my house in New Jersey, it's a whole lot of cow country out there and not a lot of cell service. So thankfully, when I got near, I was able to at least listen to the Colts game on the radio.
Sure about that? Were you happy to listen?
No, I wasn't, because it was raining. I was in farmland and there's traffic, and the Colts end up tying the Texans, which is honestly just so deflating and just so underwhelming.
First place, Houston,
and
Texans,
honest
baby.
to God, just even more even more infuriating than a loss at times. But there's no reason for it. But we'll get into that. Yeah, I'm relaxed.
Clark?
Out,
wow! First time I ever heard Justin say that.
I'm hanging out. It was a fun Sunday of football. Like you said, a lot of upsets. And football's back, so I can't complain. I'm happy to talk some football.
Clark had his triple monitor set up, going for
That's
the
the way to
second year in a
go.
row.
That's the way to go. If I was home, that's how I would have been. You know, you got the ticket on one game, you got red zone on another. And because I'm a nutcase, I set up another monitor and run the Orioles still on.
Yeah, I had the Mets.
Sunday. Exactly. You got to do three. You got to do at least three.
Yeah. See,
you're not a real sports fan if you do two.
Ooh.
Yeah, four.
And then you got to check Twitter on your phone. So it's almost like a fourth screen at that point.
Yeah, you're checking your fantasy. And you're
exactly.
checking everything else.
Oh, God. You're right.
How have we all not gone blind at this point?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting, especially with work too. All of us staring at our computers all day. We're getting
a lot of blue light.
30-inch monitors. Yeah. All right. So let's get right into it. Like we said, a lot of upsets. We're not going to go into detail of every single game, but we've highlighted a good chunk of the game. Yeah,
especially when we had the fourth member here too.
Oof, yes, Jesse is currently working, so we get to avoid we get to save some time here. But we made a list of just some of the bigger moments of today, and we're going to start off with the Green Bay Packers getting absolutely walloped by the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota, and this was another one of Justin Jefferson's masterpieces. It's time to put him in the conversation for best receiver in the league. They went 23-7, and the Packers look terrible. Rodgers looks miserable. And could this be the beginning of the end for the Packers?
I feel like we say this every year. You know, the Packers start off slow. This thing happens. But you know, I believe the Packers will bounce back, but this is the most doubt I've had in a long, long time, like full 100% doubt with this team, just because, you know, the preseason comments with Rodgers and the receivers, and then actually seeing that happen in the games of receivers dropping passes and Rodgers looking like completely checked out and not involved with the team at all.
That's exactly, like, he just looked deflated and didn't care. And like the 7 points they scored, it was garbage time, and they really didn't care because they went into like, okay, we lost, we're accepting it. Let's just run the ball. And like Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon just ripped off a couple of runs and got into the end zone. So it's like even that one score is kind of a sham. But also, Aaron Rodgers threw the first pick against the NFC North opponent in like 3 years to Harrison Smith. And then, like Clark said, I forgot who the receiver was, but it was just like a perfect deep ball thrown by Rodgers.
The rookie Christian Watson.
And like,
pick.
if that's Devontae Adams, that's going to the end zone.
Yeah.
But also like Rodgers was constantly under duress. He had not a lot of time. He was constantly on the move. I still think they'll be fine. Like they'll get to the playoffs just because the NFC is a mess to begin with. But the Vikings definitely set the bar to start the season.
Yeah, 23-7 was the final. Justin Jefferson, 9 catches, 184 yards.
He's so good.
And 2 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook, 20 carries for 90 yards. And Kirk Cousins didn't make any mistakes.
Well, that's it. If all things like work out for him, this can be a good football team, and the defense punched the Packers in the mouth early, if we're being honest. And then at that point, they just had to take care of the football, which they did. And for all intents and purposes, they cruised to an easy win.
Yeah, I don't think the Packers are done. I don't want to say that yet.
It makes the North a lot more interesting, though.
The Packers have too good of a defense to just lay over and die. I mean, and even we saw. Well, I don't know if we're to get to it, but we saw the Bears in that division too, and the Bears
somehow
got a big victory today.
Did you guys see it too? Niners. Where it was kind of funny that like Rodgers was like joking around more with Zadarius Smith, who's on the Vikings now, than like his own team at times. It's like if your quarterback's having more fun with the opposing pass rusher whose job is literally to hit him, there's an issue. That is a major issue.
Yeah.
And sure. Fox aired a little pregame interview that Rodgers did with Aaron Andrews, and she asked him basically, what's it look like past this year, and he said, "Well, I'll decide at the end of this year." So if they don't go very far, Rodgers he could be on the way out, but. Nevertheless, the Vikings take care of business week 1 at home, taking out the Packers 23-7. Giants win against the Titans.
What the hell?
The Titans the Titans is just an embarrassment of a game. Went up 13-0, had a chance to make it 20. Sloppy turnovers, missed opportunities, and missing the game-winning kick from 47 yards.
What the Giants escape would do that?
I know. The Giants escape in Nashville 21-20. And Saquon Barkley's back. 18 carries, 164 yards, and the touchdown. The same Saquon Barkley that Giant fans were begging to be ran out of town just a few months ago.
So a few takeaways. One, what a set Dable has to go for 2 to win a game and big get it. Set. And to call a QB run with Danny.
Big ball
with Danny. What's so funny? Vrabel did that, didn't get it. I instantly ripped him and called him the stupidest coach. Now Dable gets it, and I'm like, he's the smartest. Great play design. But that's the thing too. You look at the play calls that they were actually calling, like a lot of motions, a lot of bootlegs, a lot of just like well thought out and designed plays. And it's like, oh, it's practically the same team as last year, but they're actually hanging with the Titans offensively, which last year that definitely would not have been the case. So the fact that at least play design wise and roster wise, it's like, oh, they can probably hang with most teams now. Granted, Daniel Jones fumbled and he had an absolute brutal pick in the end zone.
He's still not good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, obviously the play design's there, and like Daniel Jones can run it. So if you get an actual quarterback who can actually play much better than Daniel Jones, this offense has some potential. Then also they still don't give a shit about Kenny Golladay.
And on the one touchdown throw to Sterling Shepard, it was severely underthrown. So if the corner was there by like a few more yards, that's probably getting broken up. But nevertheless, Giants taking down the Titans, and for the Titans, I mean,
that's a hard way to start the season.
Having no number one receiver, Derrick Henry couldn't really get anything going. It just was a bad game for them.
Yeah, that's my takeaway. I mean, Barkley was great. It's nice to see Barkley, back to his peak form of what the Giants expected when they drafted him. But on the other side of the ball with the running back, Henry looked human. I mean, people are like starting to figure out how to tackle Henry, whether to go low on him, whether to go high, to not let him get in space, because once he's in space, he's an unstoppable train. But stopping him early is what I'm seeing from the Giants today, and they just stopped him in his tracks. And under 100 yards for Henry is very, very rare. And
21 carries too, which is a lot.
Well, let's be honest too. Maybe it's because they don't have AJ Brown there, because he was a threat, at least on the outside, that would have to pull another corner or a safety over away from the box, away from Derrick Henry. So at least it would give him a little more open space, through the linebackers, through the first line on the defense. Now that they really don't have any wide receiving threats to the capability of what AJ Brown was. Like, yes, they have Robert Woods and so forth, but it's like you can pull an extra defender and put in the box and load against Henry, and that's Clark. Like you said, that's what we saw.
Yeah, and Robert Woods only got 1 reception this game, which is crazy because he's obviously their best receiver by a long shot, and they're throwing to bums left and right. I never even heard of half these guys looking at the box score right now.
I really think it's a matter of time how long we see Malik Willis.
Soon. If this keeps up, if this mediocrity and blowing games late and not executing when you're supposed to keeps up, I think at least by week 4, week 5, you see him. I mean, I think that they play the Colts kind of early, and that's probably their biggest competition in the division.
It's gonna. That's the thing. It's all gonna be the AFC South games for the Titans. That's really gonna matter the most.
Yeah. I don't think putting in Malik Willis is a good thing, just because he's definitely not ready. So, like, the fact to just throw him in there just to maybe appease the fan base. Well, I don't know.
It depends. If it's a
loss, Tannehill didn't play bad. Like, he didn't play bad at all.
No, he was average. He was fine. He was
no turnovers, 2 touchdowns.
I honestly, I feel like it could come down to similar how Wentz got exiled out of Indy. Is he the difference maker at the end of the day? You can play a good game, but are you the reason you won, or are you the reason you lost? And did you step up when we need you to win? That's really what it comes down to. And I think he's slowly getting into that tier of he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a difference-making quarterback.
He's like a tad below Kirk Cousins in a way, like how Kirk Cousins is very consistent and doesn't make stupid throws. He's just there. He's like the middle tier. I think Tannehill's like right below that tier.
Yeah, and the fact that they were up 13-0 in this game and they lose, and to lose on a not chip shot field goal, but 47, you need to make.
And last note for me, like we said about Barkley, he's back. I think this is the game that is definitely going to be opening the wallets for the Mariners to pay him. Whether that's the right decision or not, we will see. But I think definitely they will be forced into doing so.
Yeah. Not their best track record of paying running backs around the NFL. So we'll see how that kind of plays out. But again, early week 1, Giants upsetting the Titans in Nashville 21-20.
You gotta love it.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just funny to see. I was very surprised
because these are games that the Giants would lose, right? How many times would we see it last year? They come down, take the lead, and then the other team marches down, kicks a field goal, wins, right?
I mean, this is what they did. They just missed the field goal. So
it's all some luck sometimes.
Yeah. So the team that everyone thought was going to be worse, the Kansas City Chiefs, just absolutely embarrassed the Arizona Cardinals. What was it? 37-7 was the final, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Mahomes
44-21.
With ease today for Mahomes. No,
44-21.
People were worried about, you don't have Tyreek Hill. What's the offense going to look like? Yep, nope. Travis Kelce, even more unstoppable. The core wide receivers they patchwork to build Tyreek Hill with, basically, kind of like what the Braves did with missing Acuna, how they just built him through 3 outfielders. Nope, it works just perfectly fine. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, good running back. They are A-okay.
Yeah, 5 touchdowns for Mahomes. How about Rutgers legend Clark Pacheco, baby?
Pacheco got his first touchdown. Very happy.
RU legend. Travis Kelce 8 for 121 and a touchdown. Just the usual. Arizona, not good.
Fraudulent.
Yeah. And let's be honest. Like, if they have Hopkins, how much of a difference is that? Like, do they probably score a touchdown or 2 more? But it's like they weren't stopping the Chiefs. DeAndre Hopkins isn't playing safety or corner. Like I don't even know how many times the Chiefs punted, if any. It seems.
Yeah, I doubt it. I mean,
I think
every drive ended with points. I think almost it was unstoppable.
The Cardinals defense is just bad though.
Very. They are atrocious. Not the best secondary. Wide receivers just bad.
You think
they have the quarterback? I mean, Kyler Murray can't force his way out now.
The question is, do they have the coach? And if another rough season or a no-show in the playoffs, I think there could be a change. I love how it's already week 1 and we're already overreacting. That's the best part of the NFL because it's like one.
Go ahead.
No, like one bad game. It's like fuck it, we're resetting everything.
They looked very bad.
At the end of Monday night, if Seattle somehow beats Denver, Seattle's in first place in the West. Just think about that.
And the Chiefs are always known to have a bad defense. The Chiefs literally win games.
Justin Reed kicking
45 to 35. Well, Bucker got hurt, but yeah.
But I'm just saying, though, it's like they missed a few extra points because of that, or a field goal.
I know. How did Madden know? Madden knew something.
Madden
knew.
knows.
Well, because he
Madden
kicked in,
knows.
because he kicked in the offs in the preseason, I think, too, for the hell of it.
He kicked like in like pregame stuff.
And honestly, let's be honest too. Like, it's a smart idea. If you have a safety who can like just boot it downfield accurately, you get an 11th tackler at that point.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
at least on kickoffs, that kind of makes sense.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Colts could use that.
So speaking of the Colts, they visited the first place Houston Texans, and Tech dominated the first three quarters.
Yeah.
Colts made the comeback, tied it, went to OT. Neither team wanted to win, and we have our first tie, 20-20.
I looked
the
at
Colts
it.
And Texans tie.
It is the first time the Colts have tied since 1982. So that's also a thing.
Go.
Now we haven't at least lost an opening day game, which is now 7 in a row, but we also haven't won now 8 in a row. I was listening to this game on the radio on the way home. It is atrocious, and it has been a problem for several years under Reich now, and it's more evident than ever. And it's kind of getting to my breaking point, at least. They wait like an entire half before they wake the hell up and actually try to play football against bad teams. Like, you play against like the Chiefs, they're fucking ready to go. Like the Bills last year, Bills in the playoffs, like, especially last year with Jonathan Taylor, they punched them out and they just didn't take their foot off the gas pedal. How do you not? Like, Matt Ryan threw for 320? How does that not? Why are we
50?
Why are we waiting to the second half to start that? And even then, they laid an egg in the second half for the most part in the third quarter. The most of their points, I think, came in the fourth quarter. What the hell takes so long for them to actually figure their shit out and get the ball rolling? Also, Rodrigo Blankenship missed another kick, and this was his first game since the Monday night game where he pulled something, missed that kick, sent that game into overtime. We end up losing, and he was sent into oblivion until this season because we had Michael Badgley, who was a lot better. You need to make your kicks. It's as simple as that. It was a 20
oblivion.
It was a simple chip shot field goal, as they kept saying. And if one thing they kept saying with Rodrigo Blankenship, it's not power, it's accuracy. Now it's here we are.
That's all I heard. Yeah, I mean, with Rigo, the missed field goal, that sucks, of course. But the thing that concerned me more is I think at least one or two times on the kickoffs, he kicked them out of bounds, giving the Texans the ball at the 40-yard line. So that's
how we started OT.
Yeah,
that is exactly how we started off overtime.
I'll try to stick to more positive takeaways.
There are some.
Matt Ryan played very, very well. Jonathan Taylor played very, very well. Pittman is the number one wide receiver on the team. Oh, he loves them. He loves them. They're out 24/7.
But wake the fuck up in the first half, please, for the love of God.
Negative. Yeah, but there is talent on this team to win the division.
Yes, and Kwity Paye had 2 major sacks in overtime that, thank God, ended the first drive for the Texans. But once again, where is this in the beginning?
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know.
I would be a lot more annoyed if it was a loss. Like,
me too. That's why they were down 17 points and they came back. But
at the end of the day, it is the Texans, and there's no excuse to be down 17 to the Texans and only freaking tie. There is no reason for that. And yes, if we won, it is a win. But at the same time, it's like, why are you putting yourselves in these positions to have to kick a game-winning field goal in overtime in Houston? Why are we doing this? That is the problem.
Yeah. I didn't watch any of this game, obviously, but I caught the tail end of OT, and I watched Rodrigo miss the kick. And Texans were kind of driving down there on the last
Davis Mills
Davis
Mills is a halfway decent quarterback.
Solid.
If he was on other teams, he could play 500 football with a capable team around him. It's just they have nothing on defense and minimal on offense. He takes care of the football. He throws an accurate ball. He hits the open receivers. He doesn't do like a lot of bad things. Like, he does make a lot of bad plays.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the box score. Matt Ryan fumbled 4 times.
Yeah, that was a problem. They could not snap the ball for the living hell of them to the center, from the center to him. It happened in like every quarter, I'm pretty sure. Also getting stuffed at the goal line on 4th and goal does not help when you could have kicked it at that point, get some points, and we don't have to worry about overtime at that point. But here we are. It's just a lot of just simple stuff that caused them to tie. And that's why it is so much more infuriating, because it's a tie and it just means nothing. It means they're in first place. It means they're in first place. Great. But now we have the Jaguars. Wake the hell up and actually take it to them, please.
Yes. I
Yes,
mean,
sir. Yes, sir, coach.
you tied. It happens. At least they came back though,
Not a
which
loss.
that's
Exactly.
Yeah.
that's a good
Exactly.
sign. Yeah.
Exactly.
So the Steelers upset the Bengals, but at what cost? As TJ Watt is presumed to be out for the season with a torn pec. But they first play of the game, I think it was Clark's personal friend Minka Fitzpatrick houses a pick six,
Oh boy.
and just another one that almost ended in a tie. Just a weird overtime, couple missed kicks, but in the end, it is the Steelers led by the MVP going into Cincinnati and taking down the Bengals. Just like I said, it's just a weird game. Burrow looked bad in the first half with 3 picks, but nevertheless, they did claw their way back to tie it, and the final was 23-20.
This is a
Jamar Chase, 10 catches for 129 and a touchdown, the usual.
real quick for me. This is exactly why the Steelers will never like go away. They have Mike Tomlin, and yet he somehow ekes out a win with Mitch Trubisky, who wasn't horrible for the most part. So it's like, oh, they're just as fine as we thought they would be, and they beat them, the Bengals. So great. That's another potential team that's at least going to be a thorn in most teams' side in the AFC.
Yeah. Burrow was bad, and I'm a big Burrow supporter, but as bad as he was, that protection still wasn't there for him. I mean, we said it numerous times last year.
Sacked 7 times. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
and regardless of all the other pressures too, it was brutal. Jamar Chase went over 130, I think he put up. I just saw 130 in a tutty. He's honestly in that conversation too for one of the best receivers in the league. Bengals got to just they have to get their stuff together. I don't think the Steelers are going to be that good. Ravens honestly looked the most dominant today, beating the Jets, but that's the Jets. This game is just a week one. Get your week one jitters out. A bunch of nonsense, missed kicks, all this crap. It was a mess, this game, honestly. And like you touched on Mitch, Justin, and he played good enough.
Yeah,
Again,
that's all you need from him
Kirk
right
Cousins, Ryan Tannehill, a little bit better than Tannehill, but he played good enough to just drive by with this win. Better than Big Ben has been the last couple of years for them. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this game was a big, I don't know.
TJ going out for the year is
That just sucks.
Them.
That just sucks.
It's sad. And Najee Harris got hurt, but I think they said he'll be fine. But
it's sad to see too. Like, it's kind of once like Watt, like JJ had his first few catastrophic season injuries, they just started compiling, and obviously they're brothers, so obviously they share some DNA and genetics. So it's like, hopefully now with TJ, if this is a major injury, it slowly doesn't start coming back. Didn't he tear his ACL also?
That was you're thinking of Nick Bosa, I think.
No, but didn't TJ miss like a chunk of a season a while ago, or am I?
Not that I don't recall. I don't remember.
But once again, like, I just hope it just doesn't snowball from here for him, because Pecky's going to be out for the year.
Yeah, MRI tomorrow to confirm, but that is the initial.
You think he shows up now like Cody Rhodes with his torn
pec?
pec?
I bet. I hope.
Like
Cody wrestled an entire
Hell in a Cell match.
Yes, with a torn pec.
JJ can go play some football.
TJ can play, 10 seconds at a time.
Just put him in on third downs.
Yeah, I mean, you know how much physical time is actually in football. I mean, you play like 10-second plays and then you got to rest. Come on.
Yeah, and then if you're getting blown up for a bigger play, you're just standing at the line of scrimmage. If you're a lineman, you're not doing much.
Yeah,
there you
go.
It's like an old bridge.
Yeah,
it sucks. Just not seeing him, because especially last year, how he tied the sack record. So it's like, damn, it's just fun to see.
Didn't he have a sack and a pick in this game too?
Yeah,
I know he had a pick. I don't know if he had a sack.
He made an impact well before he got taken out.
And like you started, Steve, Minka, what a game! What a game from the Old Bridge.
14 tackles too.
14 tackles, pick 6 to start the game, a blocked field goal to save the game.
Wow.
That sounds like player of the week in Madden.
That's one hell of a stat line. Jesus.
Yeah.
The water and Old-Bridge.
Living up to the contract. People are saying overpaid, which he did get a lot of money. Maybe one.
Yeah, but if you're a difference maker, you're worth every dime.
There you go.
Position should mean shit.
There you go.
Yeah. So Steelers eke out a win and upset Cincinnati in Cincinnati. So now we move over to Justin's game of the week. The Commanders hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Carson Wentz did something he could not do in Indy in that final week, and it was beat the Jaguars.
Yeah.
And He somehow did it today. I was ready to sell him. I was ready. I'm not gonna lie.
I know you were. You said you want him back.
Second interception, I was done right there.
Yep, that's exactly what happens. First one, you're like, okay, fine, it happens. Football. Second one, you're like, this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He is a roller coaster of emotions.
Weren't we right though? Kind of, Justin and I. He'll make. You saw that play to Dotson. That
yes,
great throw he made, and then he'll do those stupid picks like that. Yeah, I mean, he showed, what I saw last year in him. Dude can sling the ball. Dude has an arm. Dude can move around a little bit. It looked like how he looked last year. It really did.
First place Commanders.
Yeah.
All three win. All three teams have won. So
exactly.
Oof.
So, Steve, that roller coaster of emotions that you went through with him? That is going to be every single week for the next 16 weeks of your life.
Yeah.
If they can,
4 months.
If they win at the end of the day, I don't care. I'll take it. And that's the biggest thing. I mean,
you will be gray by the end of the season with him.
Yeah. He threw the 2 picks, comes back, throws 2 touchdowns.
Well, that's the thing.
To win the game.
He doesn't give up. That's the thing.
No,
good or bad, he doesn't give up. That's the problem sometimes, but it's also a good thing at the same time too. That's how you end up with 2 sprained ankles. But
forgot about that.
I also see why you guys hate Jacksonville.
They're annoying.
They talk so much shit and they lose. They spent the most money in the offseason and they lost. I hope Brandon Scherf likes the decision he made because he could have been on the winning team.
What is
100 yards? So he did all right.
Yeah. Overall, like I said, it was a roller coaster, but Washington did dominate the first 3 quarters of this game. Came out. It's nice seeing having a quarterback that can actually throw 20 yards downfield. And they used Curtis Samuel in a Deebo Samuel role, and he looked good. He looked really good. 8 catches, 55 yards.
Gibson getting a lot of catches too. I like Gibson, being your little receiving back. I think that's a great move for him. Because I don't know if they still trust him to be like your number 1 running back. I feel like that's kind of gone. But even though he did have yards,
I'll say this: he played every single short yardage snap, and they handed him the ball on the final drive. Those last 3 plays.
That's trust.
And he didn't fumble. Curtis Samuel was the one that fumbled today. Terry McLaurin got a touchdown, and Jahan Dotson with 2 touchdowns and the game winner.
2.
I love him. Such a big fan of his. And it was just overall a big win. Trevor Lawrence choked at the end, just throwing up a prayer. And it was not answered. So the Jaguars lose to the Commanders at home 28-22.
So at least, did you see anything though from Lawrence that's like, okay, some of the talent's still there, like kind of how he finished the year? Because obviously he was aimless last year until Urban Meyer got fired. Like, does it seem like he actually has direction though under Peterson?
His accuracy was dead on, and he was throwing bullets. Like, he was throwing actual bullets. So I mean, like, he definitely looked better. His offensive line looks terrible. He got pressured a lot. So, I mean, ETN looked okay. The drops were a big problem. They seem like they'll be competitive, but I'm still seeing 3rd in the division for them. Definitely not better than. No, I guess we gotta wait for Tennessee, but definitely not better than the Colts. Not yet. I mean,
let them tie the Texans first, then they can be better than the Colts.
Yeah. So Commanders win that one 28-22. And last game, I had it right here. The Dolphins silenced the critics, and they beat the Patriots 20-7, I think was the final score.
Yeah. Getting the ball to Tyreek Hill, that was the question for old Tua, and he did it just fine.
This was such a good game for me.
Yes, exactly.
Seeing the Patriots hopefully starting to crumble.
Mac Jones got banged up too.
Yes,
so
he did.
He got his back. They're looking to his back a little bit more, which that could be worrisome.
Yeah, it sucks for them. But I mean, what do they expect from this offense? I mean, their running game is mid at best. Their receivers are rough. There's nothing good, on anything on the offense. Mac has to, do everything himself, I feel like. But this felt like a new regime change. I mean, Bills have solidified that top spot in AFC East. Dolphins probably second, and Patriots are looking at third right now in this division after this week. I mean, Dolphins looked good too, all around. I mean, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, that's an insane fast combo they have. Probably the fastest duo in all of the league.
It has to be.
Oh my God.
It's insane.
Yeah, and Waddle caught a big bomb. I know he didn't have many receptions, but
It like you said, it's a feel-good game also for Tua. Just because the whole offseason that they were trying to move on from, they're trying to get rid of him. They obviously didn't want him. They wanted Watson. But then, people like we saw the one video on Instagram or Twitter, whatever it was, where he was like, "Oh, throwing a Tyreek Hill," and it's just a horrible, horrible pass.
yeah. Like
so to see him, so to see him actually get the ball to his playmakers and they take it, that's good. That's a good confidence boost for Tua.
It is.
Only issue is their leading carrier, 12 carries for 25 yards, is Chase Edmonds. So they can really use a run game. I will say that. Overall, just kind of looking at the other scores around the league, Saints survive a big scare in Atlanta, and they come back to win it 27-26.
Oh, good old Dennis Allen still can't quite call a defense.
Michael Thomas, I think 2 touchdowns. I saw.
He's back.
My God, boy, Slant Boy's back. He looked good. He actually looked really, really good.
I just want to hit on the Bills Rams real quick. That opened the season.
I forgot about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, do it.
The Bills are really, really good at football, and Josh Allen looks like he's going to be an MVP frontrunner. And good old Clark with Cam Akers did nothing for him in fantasy.
Literally, I would have, if you would have put up 5 points, I would have won probably. It's not over yet. It's not over. I'm still fighting with Mike Evans, but.
Also, I noticed very quickly, it seemed that Matt Stafford is now falling into the trap he did with Megatron out in Detroit. If he's not throwing to Cooper Kupp, he does not want to throw to anybody else, and he doesn't trust anybody else.
Because Allen Robinson's a good wide receiver.
Yeah, and he did nothing. He did nothing.
Receiver. Like 1 reception, 2 receptions, maybe. I think I saw.
Also Stephon Diggs had a big day that game.
So good,
and the Buffalo defense as well. Another two of the things that went up against the fantasy.
Yeah. But Diggs torched the hell out of Jalen Ramsey.
Yes.
Yeah. Jalen looked silly.
Bills look dangerous as usual. Bears upset the Niners. The Trey Lance era starts with a rocky bump.
Yeah, in a hurricane.
19-10. Yeah, it just looked terrible. It just looked like
he played in like 6 inches. He played in like 6 inches of water. The field was literally Atlantis.
Yeah, you can't say anything from this game. You got to wait till they're both on dry land for. To make some analysis on that.
It's too early. It's too early in the season. Week 1 to have like a bad weather game, regardless. That's too early.
It's too early to have a tie too, but
here we are.
Ravens beat the Jets 24-9.
That was expected.
I got nothing. Lamar looked good. I'm not a Lamar fan, but Lamar looked really, really good.
Panthers, Browns.
Flacco looks like he should have retired 5 years ago.
Yes. There's no reason they're running him out.
Jets made the good offseason moves, but nothing panned out.
As usual. The Panthers, the team that Baker Mayfield was going to fuck up, they lost 26-24.
What he said. I forgot about that quote.
Yes, he said he was going to fuck them up. And the Chargers beat the Raiders. Devontae Adams, 10 catches for 141 and a touchdown. So decent start for the Raiders. But
Herbert makes it look so easy.
Yeah, he's going to be insane. In the last game, Eagles and the Lions 38-35 out of nowhere.
Yeah, what defensive matchup, huh?
Eagles win that one in the last few
let's be honest too.
Despite a good comeback.
Last year, if the Lions put up 35 points like most of their games, they probably would have gotten like another 3-4 wins, and they're not where they were in the draft slot. So that for them to put up that many points is great, but for their defense, needs a lot of work.
Yeah, a couple things actually with this game. The AJ Brown trade is working out tremendously so far for 1 week with the Eagles.
One team.
I mean, it helped the Eagles so much. AJ Brown had 150 yards, and meanwhile, Tennessee threw to a bunch of bums this week. And DeAndre Swift is proven to be a really, really good running back. Yeah, I mean, I think he had 2 tutties maybe, and
1 touchdown, 144,
and 140. Yeah, I mean, Lions. I know I watched Hard Knocks. They're tough. They gave up 38 points, but they kept it close with 35 putting on their own.
Or Dan Campbell, he cares so much too. Like,
I know,
get the man a damn win.
I know
they played good, but nevertheless, it's currently 12-3 in the Buccaneers Cowboys game. Mike Parsons has 2 sacks against Tom Brady. So just picking up where we left off. And tomorrow it's Russell Wilson back in Seattle, just wearing the blue and orange. So that should be a pretty decent game. But Clark, you want to sign us out?
Yeah, one sec. There was some weird stat I saw with the game with the Broncos and the Seattle.
is it like quarterbacks going back to face like the team they beat?
The team they lost to in the Super Bowl, the team they beat in the
because Wilson's going back to the team he beat in the Super Bowl.
Yes, and I was also his former team.
Yes,
which is
bizarre.
Yeah. It's some stat like that. It's trippy. Yeah,
that just should not happen.
Yeah, it's the team that won against in the Super Bowl, and he was on the other team, and it's his first
game back.
First game of first week of the season, something like that. I don't know.
We need a flow chart.
I've got no idea what you're talking about. So
basically, he beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
He is the first quarterback to beat a team in the Super Bowl, then eventually go on to play for the team he beat, to then go play the team he originally won the Super Bowl with. Yeah, it's
in week one. In week one,
exactly.
Week one.
Who figures it
out? Research team, researchers.
Yeah, something like that.
Who eventually just make shit up.
Who dug up the Aaron Rodgers interception stat? That's wild.
Yeah,
against the AFC.
I feel like that's a lot easier than this.
Yeah, but this is fun.
Yeah.
All right, that does it for this episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Follow the socials on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at SportsDepPod. That's Sports DEPT Pod. We'll probably be doing these week by week. I would assume
here and there.
Sunday night, Monday night, we'll do them eventually. Baseball playoffs. It's
spring training's right around the corner.
This is the slog of baseball. Like, we haven't done it since like trade deadline, but like September getting to the postseason is the longest just grind
because football's back, and we're like,
exactly,
hell yeah, football.
But then baseball, it's like because like with most sports, when they start, like other sports are at least in their postseason. Yeah. You know, baseball's like, oh god, we still have another month.
And I'm used to being checked out at this time too with the Mets. I'm not used to playing meaningful September baseball. But baseball, basketball season starting up. Who cares? We'll do something with that maybe. I don't know.
Let's do that hockey.
Yeah, no.
Justin will hop on an episode.
All by himself. All right, so stay tuned to all that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.